So, topic 5, what is the purpose of the unit circle? So yesterday we created this unit circle, and today we're going to talk about why we did it. So the unit circle can help us easily find the values of certain sine, cosine, tangent, cosecant, secant, and cotangent functions. So it has to do with the special right triangle angles. So that's why we are doing this. So today we're going to just focus on the relationship between the unit circle and sine and cosine. So we're going to investigate the relationships, and then based on our investigation for sine and cosine, we're going to find the others. Okay, so we're going to first look at this first part. Sorry, I have to move it down just a little bit. So we're going to find the following using our unit circle. So I'm going to start with my sine of 30 degrees. So here's sine of 30 degrees. Don't draw anything else on your unit circle. You can draw it on a separate sheet of paper, or you can just follow along. So based on my unit circle, square root 3/2 is my x-coordinate. So that means the distance from the center to this red line is square root 3/2. The height of my triangle is 1/2. And then we said that the radius is always 1. Okay? So sine is the opposite over the hypotenuse. So opposite, this is on the opposite, so that's 1/2. Over the hypotenuse, which is 1. So anytime I divide a number by 1, it's still that number, so it's just 1/2. Okay? I'm going to do the same thing for the cosine of 45 degrees. Okay? If you draw your right triangle, we know that the height is square root 2/2, and the base is also square root 2/2. My radius is 1. So opposite, square root 2/2 over 1. Anything divided by 1 is still itself, so it's just square root 2/2. Okay? You're going to do the same thing for 60 degrees and 120 degrees. Okay? So now, regardless of which angle I pick, okay, what is the relationship between these values of sine and the x and y coordinate? So is it the same as the x coordinate, or is it the same as the y coordinate? And you should have said it's sine of theta is always the y coordinate. Okay? So if I asked you, what is the sine of 4 pi over 3? Okay? So you're going to go to the sine. We're going to find 4 pi over 3. It's right here. We're going to find the y coordinate. This is the y coordinate. So you should tell me that the sine of 4 pi over 3 is equal to negative square root 3/2. Okay? So we're going to do this same idea for cosine. So cosine of 30, the height and the base of our triangle did not change. This is still 1/2. This is still square root 3/2, and our hypotenuse is still 1. Okay? The only thing that changes is cosine is adjacent over the hypotenuse. Adjacent is square root 3/2, all divided by 1. So square root 3/2. Okay? So now go ahead and find cosine of 45, cosine of 60, cosine of 120, and regardless of which angle I pick, cosine of any one of these angles, is it going to be the x-coordinate or is it going to be the y-coordinate? Right, the x-coordinate. So let's say that I asked you to find the cosine of 11 pi over 6. Okay? Where is 11 pi over 6? Well, it's right here. And cosine is our x-coordinate. What is the x-coordinate? Square root 3 over 2. So you would tell me that the cosine of 11 pi over 6 is square root 3 over 2. Okay? So, based on our findings that we just found, we know that sine is always the y-coordinate. On the unit circle. Cosine is our x-coordinate. So how can I find tangent? If I know that tangent is sine over cosine, how can I write tangent in terms of my x and y coordinate? Right, because sine is the y coordinate, and cosine is your x-coordinate. Okay? Now, what about cosecant? Cosecant is the opposite of sine, because cosecant is 1 over sine. So that means cosecant is 1 over y. Okay? Secant is 1 over cosine. So that's 1 over x. And then cotangent is cosine over sine. So that would be x over y, or the x-coordinate over the y-coordinate, okay? So out of all of this, out of this entire video, the only things that you need to know is that sine is my y-coordinate, cosine is my x-coordinate, tangent is my y divided by my x, cosecant is 1 over y, secant is 1 over x, and cotangent is x over y. Okay? You're going to use these shortcuts to figure out certain degrees or radians on the unit circle.